Are you ready to buzz around town in an ID Buzz? 234-mile range, $63,000, and it's only rear drive. No thanks, but you know what I am ready to do today? Be vindicated. I'm so vindicated, let's do it. Hello and welcome. Welcome to Trucking Answers. It's the Sunday Rant, and I am vindicated, and I couldn't be happier. I have talked for years. Oh, yikes. Even the car doesn't want me to be vindicated, but I don't care. I've talked for years and years about the lease purchase crapola garbage programs that these companies put out. Many years. And I said they're no good. And I said, in my opinion, you shouldn't do it. Most people don't succeed. Okay, and companies are like, no, these are great for drivers. Well. How the rooster has come home to look at goats, right? Am I right? I'm right. This week, the FMCSA came out. I don't know, did I say this is Trucking Answers? The FMCSA came out and said, they're garbage. They have a truck leasing task force. They studied this. They studied it. I didn't have to study it. I know it. They did a study. They looked at all these different truck leases from many different places. And they found less than 1% of people that get in them actually succeed. Less than 1%. They said they're trash. Not only that, the FMCSA leasing task force said that Congress should ban them. Oh, Prime must be like, what are we going to do now? How are we ever going to get drivers? And similar companies. Oh my gosh, because I cannot tell you the number of times it's mainly Prime. Although many companies do this. Drivers will write to me and say they get out of orientation or they're training or whatever, and usually training, right? Because they go with a trainer, right? Which we'll get into some other time. And they come back and they say, oh, well, look, if you want to be a company driver, it's going to be 6 weeks, so you can just head home. Or if you lease a truck, well, we have this delightful truck right over here. And you can pick out some weird color, like, because I see these trucks all over at Prime with weird colors. And you can all grain around and pretend like you're a farmer, like you're Farmer Joe. Yeah, exactly. And I pick on Prime with this, but I'll tell you, there's tons of other companies that do this. Some have just a few trucks. Some have many trucks. Most large carriers have these lease purchase programs. Many smaller, mid-sized carriers getting into this because they know what? They know it makes them a ton of money and makes you zippo. You think you're some owner-operator, and you're not. You're a company driver paying for their truck. That's it. That's all you're doing. You don't have any benefits. You don't get insurance. You got nothing. Right? You got nothing. I'm sitting around for nearly 5 weeks of vacation, 11 paid holidays, right? All this extra pay for all these things. And some Prime truck comes in and says, oh, I wonder what I'm doing. Right. You're doing nothing. Right? Just go. If you're going to do that, go be a company driver. If you want to be an owner-operator, go buy a truck. Buy a truck yourself. The payment will be so much less. Okay, just that is the reason to go to the dealer and buy the truck yourself. Some of these lease purchase I've seen, people have sent me $1,200 a week. $1,200 a week. Oh, that's more than the ID Buzz. $1,200 a week for the truck. Oh, and they're like, well, but Mark, it's only 4 years. I'm like, huh? That's $220-some thousand for that truck. Are you kidding me? And then the purchase at the end is only $32,000. Oh, how nice. The truck's $250,000. No way. Go get a few-year-old truck at the dealer, not one that's been at a fleet. Okay, get a few-year-old truck from the dealer and buy that. The payment will be less than half probably of that. But these lease purchase, and now the government comes out and says Mark was right. Not in so many words. They didn't exactly say that because they didn't want to, bring my name up or whatever. But I know that's what they're talking about. They're like, oh yeah, he knows the deal. Experienced drivers understand the deal that these lease purchase. I've seen tons of them, and I can't tell you. I've seen one or two maybe that are even worth even thinking about. You're way better off, especially if you compare it to buying the truck yourself. Okay, just compare. the deal that they give you, the lease purchase company, whatever it is, Prime or whatever, and then go to a truck dealer and say, well, what would, get a truck. What would this truck be? A similar truck, whatever. How much would it be? Well, Mark, I can't get a new truck. You don't need a new truck. Everybody drives a used truck. Did you know that? Think about it. Think about what I just said. Every truck on the road is a used truck that's working. Go get a used truck, okay, and save the money. And that way, you control it. You can leave whenever you want, because these lease purchase, it said so in the lease thing, too, from the FMCSA, that the drivers, their whole day is controlled. They dispatch you. They tell you where to go. They decide everything. I can go home whenever I want. But you can't for $1,200 a week. How often are you going home? Never. You know where I'm going right now? Home. Right. That's you going home? No, because you got a $1,200 payment. $1,200. Can you imagine? Just think about it. Think of you, because I know many owner-operators watch. Think about that. Can you imagine paying $1,200 a week for your truck? A week. I doubt people that are actual owner-operators, like real owner-operators who bought the truck from a dealer and doing the work, putting in the work, running a business, which is what you're doing, they'd be horrified at paying $1,200 a week, $5,000 a month for a truck. $60,000 out of your pocket a year. Yeah, I just did the math. That's correct. Even though public school, it's crazy, but I am so glad that the government finally came out to vindicate me and say, you're right, Mark. They have no idea what they're talking about. No way. And certainly in my opinion, and now the FMCSA's leasing task force said the Congress ought to ban them. I agree. But then what will all these owner operators do? They'd go being a company driver, which is really what they are anyways. That's all you really are anyways. The real hurt would be on companies, because they make so much money off of people that they're taking advantage of. Generally, new drivers are just taking advantage of them. It's ridiculous. I hate it. I hate it for people, because the people that don't succeed, which is nearly all of them, they leave the industry. They don't just go do something else. They're gone. They leave the industry. And that's no good for trucking overall, because some of these people would make good drivers. They're just being bamboozled and duped with, fast talk from these carriers to make it seem like it's more than it is. Never enter a lease purchase. That's what I've said for years and years, and I'm still with it. Do not do it. And now vindicated by someone who's looked at many of these lease purchases. Back to the buzz. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back soon as a company driver on Trucking Answers.